Hey guys, this is episode 2 of Fallout 4 Permadeath Survival. Now, in the last episode, we didn't get much done, but we talked to Codsworth, so we're gonna go follow him to kill some bloatflies. This is gonna be our first action combat moment. Now, I don't like to mess around with bloatflies. I'm a huge proponent of VATs. You're gonna see me use a lot of VATs. And with my loadout spread, that didn't really make sense. With my perk allocations, you'll notice I have low agility, low perception, fairly low luck. So those are the three stats that pretty much influence your VATs, which means we don't actually have very good VATs. So our VATs interactions are going to be up close and dangerous. Now you might think that that's a silly way to do it in a permadeath run, but with our stat allocation, we kind of have to. It's just the name of the game. If you fire from a distance, you're gonna miss with this perk allocation. Now, as I level up, I'm going to slowly increase my perception, which will increase my accuracy. And then we won't have issues with aim as much. There are also attachments that affect aim. And I'll kind of talk about it if I remember to when we get into weapon modifying, although I don't do a ton of weapon modifying.
Thanks for trying, Codsworth.
You can't give up, sir. What about the city? Concord is nearby, and, well, the people there have only shot at me a few times.
Ooh, if you looked at the top left, oops, that way, we need to sleep. That's our first interaction with the survival mode so far. You do need to get some rest.
I like these people already.
Oh, good. Maybe you'll get along then, and they can help you find young Sean. I shall remain here and secure the home front.
Okay. If you guys don't know, Codsworth is a follower. You do want, if you're gonna run a follower, he's a incredibly good early game follower. Other than the fact that you can't really stim pack him, which means that when he goes down, he's gonna return to Concord. Or not Concord, he's gonna return here. But using followers is a good way to play Fallout. If you're doing like a regular survival that isn't permadeath, followers might be the playstyle for you. And if that is the case, you might want a different allocation of your perks early. It's going to be hard to figure that one out though, because the perks are so limited. I like to run my followers a bit later in the run when I can put more points into charisma. And when I just have enough like stim packs to keep them alive. To me, it's not really worth keeping them around if I can't heal them. But yeah, now that we've gotten the bugs out of the way, we're gonna do a bit of cleanup. Now, in later settlements, I might cut this out. I might not even record when I'm doing this stuff. But for the early game, I'm gonna show you the easiest way to make it safe. You do not have to do this, but I like to scrap all of the trees, and if you want to, you can go even further and scrap like all the fences. Everything wooden is essentially what we're gonna do. And a lot of you might see what's coming, but this is like a good tip for permadeath, or if you just want your regular survival run to have a smoother early game, is we're gonna use the settlement system to level up. We're gonna build a bunch of items. You can do shelves, you can do fences, and with those items, you'll level up a bit. It's a very popular way to start the game. I don't normally do this in non-permadeath. I'll just get like regular build items, like your farms, your turrets. I'll use that to like contribute to my level, but I don't purposely like use it to level up. Like it just happens to level you up. And that's like a cool thing for Fallout's progression. But in the early of a permadeath, like it's just so difficult and the consequences are quite annoying that like a good head start goes a long way. Now with rad roaches, you're not too afraid of them actually killing you. So you can just like kind of bash them, take the meat. Make sure you're picking up all animal meat. You are going to be cooking it. A lot of these things, like I'm going to be saying like, oh yeah, I forgot to mention, because I'm going to be taking for granted a lot of the advice I'm giving, even though some of you might be here wondering, like, how do you play a survival run? This might be your first introduction, and if that is you, I want to give as many tips as possible. Yeah, so when you're in Sanctuary, as soon as you've used Codsworth, help you kill the bloatflies, just scrap everything that is steel or wood. I like to scrap all of these lights as well, because they give a lot of components. But I'm mainly looking to get all of the trees. I also like to get the steel, just because a lot of things are made out of steel, like your turrets and whatnot. And I do like to build lots of turrets and lots of water producers, because water can be your economy. Sadly, the economy in Fallout is broken. It does pretty much become a water economy, or like a mute fruit economy, or both, an adhesive economy. You kind of just end up becoming a plant for water. But the items are expensive, and it's kind of just a good way to get caps is to sell purified water. Not to mention, you need the purified water anyway. You need it every time you take a drug, like a stim pack, you have to drink a water after. On top of, you just need to drink water a lot anyway. So you're gonna need water. And you want to use drugs in Fallout 4. In previous Fallout games, they weren't really necessary. In Fallout 4, things like jet to slow down time is extremely valuable, and sometimes the only way you're going to survive a bad situation. So anytime you see jet, you want to take it. It's part of the reason you want to have a water empire, is so you can buy more jet when you get to town. Jet stockpiles are super duper important. And Psycho and Medics, giving you the damage resistance it does, can be an absolutely incredible way to survive a situation you would have died. Because I believe the damage resistance stack is like 50% damage reduction when you take both, which is just nuts. Like, taking half damage in survival will save you in so many bad situations. Sometimes even buff out can be good, giving you the endurance to get a bunch of health out of nowhere. That extra health from the buff out can be a game changer too. So a lot of times when you're taking drugs, you're taking like all of them at once as a get out of jail free card. And when you do that, you need lots of water. So don't be afraid to use your get out of jail free cards, especially when you're in a permadeath, for example, if you're going to attempt a permadeath. But even in regular survival, getting sent back to your last bed save, it's not fun. And we're almost done here. I think I've gotten most of the trees that I care about. I like to build a little bit of a forward-facing settlement. So I will simply put wherever I want my base. Let's say it's like this right here. Kind of want to do a stair design. I can find it. Just wood stairs, maybe. Yeah, I kind of want to do like wood stairs up to it. Just because it makes me feel safer to be elevated. Let's say like I'm just hanging out in town. There's just something about being elevated that is gonna make me feel a little bit safer. You can sometimes get random encounters, enemies that come fight you. So I'm gonna just make it nice and safe. We could do something like that. Don't really need to do this part. Apparently we can't clip it to go the other way. Well, whatever. Safe enough, I guess. We'll put a bed in here. Bang. And One of the first tips that I thought was super duper important that I learned about survival. You take this water fountain, you can place it on anything. It's kind of a little bit stupid, but the way that you place it here, this water that you drink is purified, so you don't have to waste water bottles. And you can fill up water bottles at these for purified water. If you try to fill up a water bottle in a river, it'll give you dirty water. So put up a water fountain. That'll be how you get purified water. And I'm gonna go ahead and bring all of my workbenches into my little home. Put the cooking right there. There's a chemistry station hidden behind this yellow house. Go ahead and grab that. And yeah, this is the tedious part of a survival playthrough, is kind of setting up your early game. Although it kind of reminds me of like playing Minecraft. This is like just the early phases. If you really respect the game, you take the early game seriously, you do the chores. If you've done it 1,000 times and you have your own method of getting through the early in survival, that's fine, but this is the way I do it. It's the way I feel comfortable doing it. Is just to take my time, treat the world like it's real, and treat the world like it's dangerous. Move our weapons workbench over. And just to mention why I'm building the base over here, this is more of a decision I'm making for... Oh, that was a rad roach. This is a decision I'm making for... What's the word I want to look for? Like a macro decision. Like I know that I'm gonna be back here multiple times, so I want my base to be near the front entrance, just to save me the few extra seconds per trip down the line, just because I know I'll be back here a lot in the early game, even in the late game. You got to come back here for followers, all kinds of stuff, but a lot of times you're just coming back here to cook, to rest, all that stuff. Now, it can become obsolete once you build some settlements further south. But who knows how fast that'll take, or how slow for you or for me. I know for me it might not take as long, but if you, let's say some of you guys stop watching this and you start doing your own playthrough, trust me, you'll want to have a sanctuary base, because you might not even know other good locations for a base. You might come back here more than I do. So yeah, we've got a nice little base here now. A place to cook your food. And you will be cooking your food. You want to kill every single animal you find, every bug you find, and take their meat. Because not only do you need food in this game mode to survive, but cooking food gives you experience points, which is very, very convenient. My first perk point is going into Idiot Savant. The lower your intelligence, the higher likelihood that you get randomly 3 times experience. I like that, so I don't have to invest in intelligence. And it lets me put all my perk points into other stuff. Alrighty. Next step. We're gonna do... The reason we collected all that wood, we're gonna show you why. In your structures tab, you can go over to fences. Wire fence. And you can pick a couple. The posts. The posts are pretty thick. I like to create little choke points in my world. Now you can just kind of spam these wherever, but I like to turn them into little walls. I'm doing this for experience.
Mathematical.
I changed my Idiot Savant to this mathematical thing.
Mathematical.
Might be a little bit annoying. You might want to skip ahead.
Mathematical. Mathematical. Mathematical.
But I like to create little pathways
Mathematical.
when I do this,
Mathematical.
so that it's... God, it's so annoying.
Mathematical.
Let's see.
Mathematical.
Idiot Savant sure is triggering a lot.
Mathematical. Mathematical.
I thought that that would be less annoying than the Idiot Savant, but that might be worse. I might have to change that. But anyway, I like to build little pathways so that I can get experience from this while also doubling it as utility. So yeah, like for example, I can put a fence post like this. And now it immediately acts like a bit of cover
Mathematical.
for the bottom of my stairs.
Mathematical. Mathematical.
And see, like adding walls just kind of gives you a bit of cover against potential attacks.
Mathematical.
Now there are better walls to do this,
Mathematical.
but we just wanted to pick the cheapest option
Mathematical. Mathematical.
to level our character.
Mathematical. 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 Mathematical.
Why does it cue them?
Mathematical.
All right, highly recommend.
Mathematical.
This episode's 4 minutes left. I would just skip to the next episode. In fact, I'm gonna do the rest of this fence post placing off camera and just go to the next episode. I'll see you guys in the next one.